we have some FIFA, some Champions League. I know a lot of us really were getting into it. Me and Amos are big soccer fans. Of course, I'm a big Bayern Munich fan. That's the team that I love. Amos, go ahead. You can tell you who's your. I know you have a couple of teams that you like, but I know you have a main team.
Yep. So my main team, I would definitely say, is Liverpool. Crazy enough, I've honestly missed out on a lot of good soccer. Efren probably became a soccer fan way earlier than I was. I was just that typical American that just didn't have time for it. I love me some NBA, NFL, MLB, and I just started playing the FIFA game. As stupid as that sounds, I started playing the FIFA game and became interested in it. Wanted to know these players and these tournaments, and I felt like how cool it was to see that it's actually truly a world game. And so it's not like, American sports where the best players are just in our general area. You have the best players everywhere. And so with that said, I became a Liverpool fan. I've been probably about a 10-year supporter, but I also like the Seattle Sounders, obviously, because that is the local team. But yeah, friend, this year has been pretty wild because my Liverpool, they were just in the Champions League finals last year, as you know, and they've just been struggling. Their defense is just in shatters. They're a little older this season. They had a bad game their last leg versus Real Madrid in the round of 16. It was 2-0 Liverpool, and Real Madrid came back 2-5 to actually win 5-2. So now we're on to the second leg, going to Real Madrid, who, by the way, beat us in last year's finals. So I'm not very confident whatsoever. But yeah, going forward, I know your Bayern Munich is playing PSG. What's the status in that series right now?
Wow, we're going in. We're going in up 1-0. I'm not gonna lie to you. We should have. Mbappe made a. Of course, if you guys do new players from PSG, that is one of the strongest teams out there as well. They have a lot of talent. What I mean by that, Messi, Mbappe, Neymar. I just found out that Neymar is missing this game. He is going to be out, but of course Mbappe is coming back. And up 1-0. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm confident, but not 100% because Mbappe is a great player that he can make things happen. We should have lost this first leg 2-1, but I'm glad we got some calls that went our way. Of course, that is my team. I'm a big Bayern Munich fan. The other teams I go for, like in Mexico, I'm a big Chivas fan. I really don't cheer for other Europe teams. And if you're talking about Champions League, guys, just to let everybody know, Champions League is teams all over Europe, everywhere in Europe. You got teams from Spain, teams from England, teams from Germany, teams from Austria, teams from name it. They gotta play league games like a World Cup, but a smaller tournament every year that goes on. It's what you see. Go ahead.
Hasn't PSG? They've been pretty inconsistent throughout the season, though, haven't they?
So they've been inconsistent this year during the French league because they're starting to get a lot better, but they are inconsistent because of injuries. But
was that the first? That was the first leg.
No, so they had Mbappe had to come off the bench for them. That's why I said that they should have won because as soon as he came off the bench, they made a big difference to our team. So that's what scared me about that PSG team. We beat them 2 years ago, I think it was, or was it 3 years ago? We beat them in the championship for the Champions League, 1-0. Of course, the one thing I can tell you guys, the kid who scored that won this time, his name is Coman. He's a French player. He's actually started off his career at PSG. He scored on them this last leg. So, and he's the same one that scored on them when they won the championship that one time. But if we get past this round, I feel like we have a big chance of winning it all. But it's just going to be hard. It's going to be a hard time. And going back to one stat, I don't know if you knew, and I don't mean to talk crap on Liverpool, Amos, but it's, I think, 4 in a row already that Liverpool has not been able to beat Madrid. 4 in a row games. If you think about it, just look at it. Look at the last 4 times they played against each other in the Champions League. I don't know, but Madrid, that's the same thing. We have the same problem against Spanish teams. I don't want to face no Spanish team at all in this this tournament. Can we end up
What
losing?
what does the season consist of, guys? That's the only thing that I'm having a hard time. Do they break it into like? Because I see right now the standings are it's like a 6-game. They played like 6 games in whatever this
Bracket,
draw is.
a group
But
bracket.
from what I was looking at, it looks like Napoli has actually been the most consistent team over the course of the season, though.
Yes. So the way it consists of, Alan, is you have to be one of the every league in England and everything. To qualify for this tournament, you got to be either the top 4 in England, the
Okay.
top 4 in Germany, like in your division, in certain areas. Then you
Okay,
get put
so then they break it up into groups, right? And then how
They
many
break- yeah.
groups are there?
There's multiple
Like
groups.
10
for
of
first
them?
round.
Like 10 groups?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
about right. And like to Efren's point, yeah, I think German, England is 4. I want to say like the French league is 3. I want to say Spain is 4 because that's the thing. All these leagues aren't equal, but it's also to my point earlier. It's why this league is so cool because you get all these different leagues that are competing. Efren knows the Premier League is typically the NBA, the NFL, the MLB. It's literally the league, the most popular league, and it usually generally is from top to bottom the best league. But also, they run into these Spain teams, specifically Real Madrid and like Barcelona, and those teams are usually the best teams, not the best.
But
Not in
those
the best.
teams also had Messi and
Ronaldo.
Ronaldo on them,
Yeah.
right? For a lot of
And
years.
Barcelona, and then basically they've both left within the last few years. But the thing about it is,
Right. Well, I actually didn't Ronaldo. He pretty much got booted, didn't he? They gave him his walking papers, didn't they?
no, that was Juventus. He was.
That
I
was
think it's more.
Juventus.
I think
Oh, that was Juventus, wasn't it? Yeah.
Hold on,
So
Manchester
let me ask you
United.
this, guys.
We're
Let
talking
me
about
ask you
Manchester
this.
United.
So in these groups, once they put them into the groups, are they playing against everybody or just the 4 teams that are in their groups?
So you play against the 4 teams that are in your groups. You play home and away against each team.
So the first leg is either a home or away game, and then the second leg would be the
Yeah.
other side of that, then, right?
And you get so for every win you get 3 points. For a tie you get 1 point. For a loss you get 0 points. The only 2
So
teams.
then how do they come up with the full season? Because when I opened it up, I saw Napoli had, like I was saying, they were like the most consistent team throughout the season.
So this is the good thing about this tournament, Alan. This tournament is also going on at the same time that the regular season for each league that's going on. So these teams are going.
So are they still playing games in their league?
Yeah.
Along with the tournament?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
right.
so you get drawn into. Oh, go ahead, Emma. You can explain this part.
Well, you're explaining it really good. I was going to basically say, essentially, Alan, in the group, 2 teams are typically the teams that are then advanced, basically, to the 2 top teams, basically.
Right.
And the number 1 team will then play the lowest ranked team in the final 16, basically, and that's kind of how it goes, essentially.
So basically, just the regular season is what gets them into the tournament, and then they have to perform during the tournament. Then
yes, but
let's move on to the next stage, right?
Right, but let's make some clear effort too. It's actually not this season. So basically, you do your regular season, right? If you make top 2, top 3, whatever in a league, top 4, let's say, you'll then qualify for the Champions League the following season. So like Liverpool.
Okay.
So Liverpool's in the Champions League based off last season, whereas this season, in their season in the Premier League, they're actually struggling. They're like number 6 right now. So basically, as if it was to end this season, Liverpool wouldn't even make it the following year, unless they won the whole.
Unless they win it, right? Okay. But it looks like they're doing really well in the tournament, though, right? I mean, from what I can see, they look like they're doing really well. They're right there with Napoli. They're actually just a few points below Munich.
This is what Efren was saying, though. So basically what happened was they lost to Real Madrid last week. They got off to like a 2-0 start. Real Madrid came back and won 5-2. So they were off to a good start round 16.
Okay.
Second leg, and they're down 3 right now. So it's going to be.
They got to score 4 to advance then.
Exactly. But I would say my favorite skill going forward is certainly Bayern Munich. They always play really good as a team, a whole team, as Efren knows. They always have superstars, but they don't seem like they ever rely on just one guy. Whereas like PSG, a lot of times you'll see in past years, PSG plays a lot of just iso ball, one-on-one, hero ball.
Because they have 3 stars on that team. Well, who are the stars for Munich? E.
So right now, we have multiple stars. We lost our best player this last season. His name was Lewandowski. He went to Barcelona. But
Okay.
now we're depending on Sergio Mane that came from Liverpool. We're
Was that a trade? Was that a trade that they lost Lewandowski through a trade, or he just went to that team?
Free agency.
Okay.
Free agency. We also lost. We gained a couple of players, but our star players are like Mane, Gabney. We got we did have he's not the best goalkeeper in the world no more, like people have called him. Because we have more, but we also had we had the best goalkeeper in the world for a while. He's hurt right now, so we're doing it with the backup goalkeeper. Our midfield is very strong. Our midfield is Sane, Goretzka, Kimmich. These are mostly all these players too. One thing that I can tell you about Germany, most of these players are all German-based players.
All German players? Okay.
Mostly based German players. Like a lot of other teams got players from like France.
All over the world, right?
Like that, but we don't have. Most of our team is usually like based, and that's why I believe that we're so good because we keep it in our
in-house.
Yeah.
Right. They play together. They play together most of the year then, right? Even in the off season when they're
sometimes they play internationally together too. So
okay.
Yeah. But like I said, this tournament, I can tell you, it goes by group stage. Top 2 events. Right now they're in the round of 16. So all these teams. So after this week and next week, there's 4 more games. Then it keeps on going. But like you said, that's why a lot of these teams, what they want to do is they want to be. Sometimes you're not going to be able to catch up to the top of their league. So they just want to make the top 3 to make this tournament.
To make the tournament.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys this: who would you consider the favorite, and then who would you consider the sleeper, the dark horse in the tournament?
Amos, you want to answer this first part, and I'll go second.
Yeah, you give the dark horse. I'll give the favorite. So I would say my favorites. I feel like every year, so we've even brought up Man City, right? And it's funny because this year in the Premier League, Man City's actually struggling for Man City, but Man City has won the Premier League, I want to say 3 of the last 4 years. I mean, they've been literally.
I think they have actually. Yeah.
The standard basically, and they're probably the richest club, although Newcastle is now coming up. But as far as the teams in Champions League, Man City might have the most money. They have oil money is what they call it, and they have the talent. And so from a just talent perspective, man, I always think of Man City, but as far as them being in form, you wouldn't really say Man City's the best in form. And so you probably have to go Real Madrid in form. I mean, just because they're so talented from top to bottom, they have a lot of homegrown talent that's really good, but they have the scores right now as far as Madrid goes. Where is it? Benzema. What's the Brazilian's name? Vicious. Efren, how do you?
Vinicius.
Junior Vicious, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce it, but he's a stud. I mean, he's one of the best young players in the world. He absolutely killed Liverpool. And so I would just say Real Madrid, Man City, and then certainly whoever comes out of Bayern and PSG. I just think we've all been waiting for PSG and Bayern to PSG and Man City to finally win. I mean, it's and they haven't, and they're always favorites typically. So I would say one of those 4, but obviously again, Bayern, PSG, one of them will be eliminated this current round. So whoever comes out of that, give me them, Real Madrid and Man City as my 3 favorites. I'd probably have to give favorites. The ultimate favorite because of their form right now, man. Madrid.
So even as strong as Bayern Munich is playing, you still wouldn't have them in that pool, in that group.
No, so Bayern would be, like I said, they're in that top 4 with me, along with PSG.
Okay.
They got a PSG, whereas I have confidence that Real Madrid and Man are going to qualify.
And what about teams like Chelsea and AC Milan? Would they be?
Efren knows this. Chelsea has been really bad this season, regular season wise. So they're only in it based off last year, and they already lost to Dortmund in the first leg.
Did they?
Yeah. And then as far as Inter, they're good, but like Inter just never has, enough pieces per se. One of those teams that's like they typically get in top 2, top 3, top 4. I know their history wise, man, they have maybe whatever they might have the most champion league finals and chips of anybody, right? But as far as lately, recently, they're a good team, but I wouldn't say they're a favorite. No.
So the dark horse.
Yeah.
So the
dark horse, yeah.
The dark horse is Napoli. The dark horse is Napoli this year. Napoli
you think so?
Yes, they have the weapons. They have the players to compete, but nobody knows if they can beat these power teams from Madrid, from Bayern, from Germany, from Man City. Nobody knows if they're that good enough to beat this team because there's always a team that has it the easiest. And when we say the easiest way to the final is because they're drawing teams that are not as good as they are, if you understand what I'm saying. So
they would be considered the favorite in most of the games that they're playing then?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's how you learn. So like the way it goes, so like after this right here, all these teams don't know who they're playing against next. Right. So they can win, but they don't have a direct, I'm going to be playing against this team next. It comes at a draw.
When they go into the next round, do they actually mix the groups up again, or do they stay with the teams they've?
So the teams that advance, so it's going to the Elite Eight. It's like basketball. Okay, let's go conference basketball. It's going from the Sweet 16 to the Elite
16
Eight.
to the Elite Eight. So it would be 2. So 4.
But not groups. It's not groups no more.
Oh, but it's not groups anymore.
Instead of them knowing who they're going to play, it's a draw. So this team will play against this team. This team will play against. It's not automatically who you're playing against.
So they don't seed them at all.
They don't know. So they don't know who they're playing against in the next round.
They don't see. Nobody comes in as a favorite. Nobody comes in as an underdog.
Not until they find out after the draw. So next week, it'll be next Friday. There'll be a draw.
So let me ask you this: with this draw, could the top 2 teams play against each other in the next round?
Yeah.
Yeah, because once you get, I think it's the 16 is based off seedings, like 1, 2 in the bracket. But after Sweet 16, once you get to like Elite 8, it's anybody. It can play anybody now. It's free for all.
So that's how they do it all the way. They do it all the way to the final. So if you advance,
that was a draw.
On the final, you already know who's going to play against each other after the last 4.
Okay.
So that's the way they do this.
That's actually pretty cool, guys. I didn't realize that. That's actually that keeps it really interesting.
Yeah, because you don't know you can't prepare for the next team.
Right. You can't prepare, and then and if you knock off one of the top teams, that might make it an easier route for you to get to the final.
Yeah. And I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen a lot. Like I said, Champions League is a good sport. I hope you get into it. Just watch soccer. I love soccer. I grew up playing soccer. I might not look like it, but I love soccer. Soccer is a worldwide sport. I love my football. I love my basketball. Soccer is just something I grew up with. And you start learning about these leagues, like you said, like you want to cheer for the underdog. You want to cheer for the underdog. But sometimes you just want to see 2 great teams go at it in a final.
And the crazy thing about soccer, and I'll just say this last point, we can move on. But soccer is crazy too. Like, so in America, you can have a franchise that just has really bad luck, unfortunately, and you might have a baseball team that has some owners that don't want to spend a lot of money. But for the most part, we all have cap space, right? So every team we know at least has a fighting chance because of cap space and your free agency, or not even free agency, sorry, cap space in the draft, right? Because hey, if I'm a bad club, team, or whatever, we can draft a stud guy. Maybe they can save our franchise. Where in soccer, it's not like that. They don't have cap space per se, and there's no draft. And so a lot of the best teams have the best facilities, academies, but then obviously they have the money. So they get the best players. A certain smaller program will be a feeder to a bigger program. And so long story short, a lot of these teams, these fan bases, like in the Premier League, for example, I would say 80% of them know they're never going to win. It's crazy. Like literally, the big six in the Premier League are the teams that have traditionally won and have the money. And so, like even in Spain, for example, it's literally just really Real Madrid and Barcelona. A little bit of Atletico Madrid, which is typically the third best team in that league. But so long story short, as good of a game it is, and it really is a truly special game. These fans love this game when they know their own team aren't even going to win. Basically, teams are happy with fans are happy that their team can sometimes make sixth place in a league, and so it's just completely different than like we're used to out here, basically, where we have certain expectations. We want our team to be the best or get number one, But yeah, it's just different.
Right.
One thing I can tell you. Hold on. Well, I'm sorry for bothering. So one thing.
Okay.
If you guys do want to look into this, Alan, maybe you like a show that you can watch. There's 2 American actors that actually just bought a team.
Yeah, I know. I actually watched that show, bro. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So watch that. They're having coming. So this season, they've actually been on a miracle run in certain tournaments and certain cups that they're playing, and they beat teams that are actually playing in the Premier League.
Dang.
Yeah. So you're like, what the heck? Like, what's going on?
They got the money. They got the money to bring in guys, and they got a lot of talent that came out of Wales, and so they're bringing those guys back to the country, and they're playing for that team.
They're trying.
So. But let me ask you one quick thing, guys. As far as movement,
hold on.
Team to team.
Amos?
No, I was saying though, but to that point, Alan, they haven't even just yet because they just took over the team, right, Efren? So they haven't even like took over just completely, right? They haven't like.
Actually, they did. So Alan was talking about they got more those. So they bring a striker back that plays for. He's already playing. He's been a great asset to them. Man, that team has just been like you hear about them, you're like, what the heck? And I started watching them on TV like a regular game. You guys are playing good. One thing, Alan, I want you to know is if you ever have a chance to experience a soccer game, even here in the States, and I don't mean an MLS soccer game. I mean when these teams from Madrid, Barcelona,
Munich, seeing like a friendly matchup between the U.S. and someone like that.
Go. But if you ever have a chance to go to England or go to Germany, go watch their home stadiums and look at how the difference from a football game to a soccer game is at those.
It looks crazy, man. It looks crazy. I mean, it's their life in a lot of those countries. It's all they live for. It's crazy. I got one quick question though, guys. As far as movement between the teams, is there any movement once the tournament starts? Like if say one of your top guys goes down, do they have a pull to bring someone up and play?
Go ahead, Amos.
No, that's a real good question. I'll just say, Efren, you can talk about Efren. I would just say bring up the transfer window, right? And then just say, once they do play one Champions League game, they're disqualified, right, for the season.
Yeah. So that's the thing. So a lot. So like you were talking about Munich. Munich is in rumors to take. His name is Henry Kane from Tottenham. He's a big star. Harry Kane, from Tottenham, from England. He's supposed to come to Munich. We're supposed to pick him up. He's supposed to be the next big star that we have.
Didn't he have a good
World Cup?
World Cup, yeah.
Yes, he did have a good World Cup this year.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, so he's supposed to be coming, but he is not allowed to play in the Champions League because his team is also in the Champions League right now.
In the championships, so he won't be able to play until next year.
Yes, unless if he comes to. But he's still playing, so he's still playing right now. I think it's only if his team gets eliminated, he's not allowed to play no more, right? If he gets transferred.
No, so if you play, I want to say if your team qualified, so even if you made it to the bracket, but your team like lost and you didn't make it to the final 16, you're done. Like you can't play for two different teams in a season, in a Champions League season. So whether you make it throughout the first bracket or you lose, once you play one game in Champions League, you're disqualified basically.
But we do have players that can come up from second teams. We do have second teams out there.
Okay.
There's academies.
Like in soccer, Alan, like soccer teams are so big, they'll loan players out, which is pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? So you have players that might not be good enough to play with for Bayern right now, and then go to a smaller club and be like one of their best players, and then guess what? You just pull them up, worst case, and
then you bring them up. Yeah. Okay.
But I hope
that's actually pretty cool.
And like I said, guys, I just hope everybody gets into it and just information. Comments are down low. If you guys ever want to know a little bit more, we could actually look at some more research and then more questions. Anybody, because I know there's a lot of people that want to get it. But yeah, that's all about Champions League right now. Good luck to the teams that are still in there, and then in a couple of weeks we'll bring it back up because it'll be semifinals. So we'll go on from there.